Assalamualaikum, my name is Qurrotu Najla, Binti Mohamad Jamaizi, and my metric number is 820A1768.
Hi and Assalamualaikum, my name is Nurul Zain. My metric number A20A1816.
Assalamualaikum and good day. My name is Amira Binti Mohamad Asri. Metric number A20A1678.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Binti Zurhaini and my metric number is A20A1900.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Siti Alia Zahirah Binti Mohamad Ziyad and my metric number is A20A1972.
We are from Group 8. We will present about the issue of contract doctors cannot be observed as permanent position.
This is table of contents. So, first and foremost, what is contract doctor? A contract doctor or contract doctor system is a tenure scheme in the public sector. The officer appointed with this scheme is a contract bound by a contract agreement. This system is implemented by the Public Service Commission, which is SPA, managed by the Public Service Department, JPA, and the Ministry of Health Malaysia, MOH. It replaces the system of regular appointments given to all previous doctors. The aims of contract doctor is to shorten the long waiting period among medical graduates before starting work as a graduate doctor. The system began in December 2016 with the entry of the first contract position of the year. It was introduced by Dato Sri Najla in the presentation of the 2017 budget during his reign.
The issues and problem in this case for contract doctor is the issue of salaries. The payroll system run by the Ministry of Health is not done fairly like regular doctors. This has caused dissatisfaction for the contract doctor as his work is not paid with the salary as promised before. Significant salary difference but the same area of duties and responsibilities cause the Ministry of Health Malaysia seem to adopt a dual salary system for its staff and unfair for those who hold the title of medical officers. Human Resources Management established to ensure that employees employed by an organization do their job efficiently and effectively in line with the achievement goals of an organization. The basics for determining the salary is that the payment of salary should be adequate to the basic needs of a person working. The second issue of placement of permanent officer. Yearly, a group of contract medical officers were reported on social media to go on strike because the government did not resolve the issue of their permanent placement. This problem begins when there is a sharp increase in the terms of medical student intake. The move does not seem to be planned as well as possible, cause a dumping of graduate due to the lack of place to train the graduate in government-owned hospitals. On issues such as the issue of placement of permanent status officer, the government needs to plan proper human resources management so that all medical graduates can be absorbed and permanent status. Through human resources planning, it can be seen as one of the expectation and preparation for the coming period in the organization. The last issue is no clear accuracy as to the criteria of a contract appointment officer to be absorbed into a permanent medical officer. Since this contract appointment system was carried out, the criteria for contract doctor to be absorbed into the permanent medical officers were not stated in any newspapers or in the health ministry system itself. This ambiguity has caused anxiety among them because it involves the future of life and the development of their careers in the future. The harder contract doctor movement across the country had previously had to take drastic action not to work due to the government failure to meet the demand to officer permanent appointments to all existing contract doctor besides explaining the criteria for permanent appointment in details.
How this issue affect the organization? First, provide the opportunity to further a master degree equivalent to the federal training price. However, the federal training price is only given to permanent medical officer. Contract medical officer need to apply through the parallel pathway APT training program. Second, MOH need to make good planning to ensure the future of contract doctor. This is so that the country does not suffer from brain drain, because the current issues that are happening now cause the country to experience a shortage of specialized doctors. Now, the number of specialized doctors is around 13,000 people, but the country needs 28,000 people in 2023. This puts great pressure of medical students to be appointed as a permanent medical officer after completing graduate training and a period of compulsory service. This position of this contract doctor has been decided since 2016 when they graduate. Third, the issue of contract doctor is also due to the government policy to control the size of the public service as well as control spending prudently. This results in some of them not being appointed as medical officer on a permanent basis. Next, contract medical officers are given the same emolument as permanent medical officer, as well as setting up a special committee in August 2021 to address this issue. This is because the government has examined and submitted the addition of posts by creating strategy to increase employee opportunities in government and private agencies. The issue of contract doctor also affects the MOH to increase the number of permanent positions to existing contract doctor. This is very important as it provides a balance between the supply and demand of medical staff. Overall, from this contract doctor issue has affected the organization, so the government needs to make a long-term plan by setting minimum requirements for medical students in medical school. The government also needs to set the number of graduation as well as check the number of places for medical students in university in order to reconcile the number of places with the number for training. If the supply can be coordinated with the demand of doctors in the national market, there is no need to do a system of contract medical officer in the future.
About the improved suggestion, the first and most pressing issue is contract doctor remuneration. The Ministry of Health should strengthen the contract medical officer program by lifting the compensation from UD41 and UD43, which is virtually equal to that of permanent medical officers. This is because contract medical officer and permanent medical officer do not the same responsibilities, and both are bored of going through the motion and their work. The sole distinction is that the contract officer compensation is not the same as the permanent officer's salary. This is what caused problems for Malaysia contract medical staff who are not treated similarly while having the same high-level medical education. As a result, the government should provide 2 billion for contract doctor appeals. After that, the problem of hot contract physician placement was discussed. There are far too many graduates into this culture who have recently completed their education. As a result, the government has sent out a fresh message to government employees stating that every government state keeps employment contracts in order to prevent the country from becoming even more jobless. However, there is a setback for every graduate because they will realize that they will need a steady job to support themselves in the future, which will definitely need a significant number of money as prices continue to rise year after year. For example, medical graduates quit contract doctor roles in favor of permanent position. This is because the expense of studying medicine is undeniable high, but if it's only part-time, they will be able to afford it.
In addition, the proposal for the Ministry of Health to submit detailed criteria for recruiting permanent positions in the public health services sector, it can resolve the issue of no apparent accuracy regarding the criteria that a person needs to possess to be a permanent officer in the medical sector. If we do not address this issue, there will be a dumping of contract doctors in Malaysia. In human resource management, recruitment and selection are essentials in selecting a person to be its employee. The recruitment and selection of human resources is a challenging function of human resource management. It will determine the quality of human resources to support the organization's goals. Refers to identifying organizational recruitment needs tied to a company's overall strategic business plan. Therefore, the authorities, namely the Ministry of Health Malaysia (MOH), must provide a set of fixed criteria information to explain and provide knowledge to the public to become a medical officer for a permanent position. A study of the criteria set by current employers is very suitable to be a helpful guide in determining their marketability. The criteria for being absorbed as a permanent positions are known. It is clear about what the organization needs to achieve now and in the future to achieve the objective. Organizations that strategically practice hiring will consider their hiring decisions in organizational strategy and business objective. It can also help stakeholders recruit and select the best and quality candidates to serve in the country public health sector. Lastly, set up a separate entity such as the Health Services Commission. It combines the three entities found in the public service system, namely the Public Service Commission (PSC) and the Public Service Department (PSD), and the entities of ministries and government agencies. Combining these three entities avoids any confusion related to contract doctors issue and ensures that the PSC and PSD also produce medical practitioners through the civil servant channel. The three service system entities have the same function related to human resource management in Malaysia. For example, the Public Service Commission (PSC) functions to appoint confirmed servers, enter into pensionable positions, promote and others, while the Public Service Department (PSD) is to determine the role of the public sector, determine the size of the organization of public agencies, and the needs of development of human resources. Ministries and government agencies hire individuals from PSD and PSC management system. Although all these entities have the same function, it has created a problem for the public, especially officials in the medical sector. The PSC once said never to set aside any medical officer post to hold a permanent position. However, confusion is when PSC cannot appoint any contract medical officer if there is no application from the Ministry of Health Malaysia (MOH). Meanwhile, the MOH cannot apply if the PSD does not approve any permanent wire and no officer warrant. It is thus clear that contract doctor medical officers are made a ball of burden when the three entities will blame each other to the issue of when we can absorb contract doctors in permanent position if the entity are executing separately. Therefore, these issues can be resolved if all these entities merge into one entity, namely the Health Service Commission, to work together to improve the system of contract doctors and facilitate their career choices in the future.
In conclusion, we can conclude that the Malaysian Medical Association said it was unfair for contract medical officers who completed a 2-year training period to be given a lower salary scale grade than those who were absorbed as permanent doctors. Thus, the government needs to come up with a comprehensive plan on the issue of contract doctors' salaries. On issues such as the issue of permanent status officers, the government needs to plan proper human resource management so that all medical graduates can be absorbed as permanent. In addition, both parties need to have a good discussion without committing any riot that could hurt the public. A good cooperation can solve this problem in a way that can benefit both parties.
Yeah, I think that's all from me and my group members. Thank you and see you again. Bye.